I'm Matt with eTrailer, and today we're talking about the B&W Tow Stow 3 ball mount for your 2.5-inch hitch. And this is going to have a 5-inch drop and a 4.5-inch rise. So this is going to be something that's going to be a great option for you if you find yourself constantly towing a lot of different types of trailers, whether it be a horse trailer, utility trailer, or you're hauling a boat behind you. And it's also going to be a great option if you're constantly switching this between different trucks and vehicles. So let's check it out. What's going to give you the ability to really accommodate for different trailers or vehicles is going to be this housing. This housing can actually rise and drop. So if I remove these pins, that'll let me either maneuver this up or down. So if I need this up a little bit, then I'll be able to put these pins back through some of the holes and secure it down. So this is important because whenever you are hauling a trailer, you want to make sure everything is level, because if anything's unlevel, you have too much pressure being applied or not enough pressure, you're not going to get a good even tow. Earlier I mentioned this is also going to have a 4.5-inch rise. So the way to get that is actually you have to flip this over. So we have to remove it from a receiver. And you'll notice I have a pin and clip. And yours isn't going to come with that. That's something you're going to have to either purchase separately. You can find one of those on our website. Or if you already have a set, then you can use that too. And when we flip it around, we'll also have 2 holes we can choose from. And that's just going to depend on whatever setup you have, whether you need something that sticks out a little bit further or not. But after when you get this back on, you'll be able to tell how I can get this to rise up further now. It's really quick and easy to use. See, I can push this up to the max spot. And once you do push it up to this rise position, you can also flip this ball around so you can actually tow with it now. And we're going to have a third position. The way we're going to use that is by pulling out these pins. Those drop out of place. This is actually going to rotate to the other side. And what we're going to do is just lift up on it a little bit so we can line it up with the holes. Let it catch on and secure in place. A reason why you might want to go with this position is because if you're not hauling anything at that time and you want more of a clean look to the back of your truck, that's going to give you that ability. And if you just want to save a few inches, because if you are trying to back up into a really tight spot, then every inch is going to count. The second thing that's going to allow you to work with a lot of different trailers is going to be the 3 ball mounts. So in this first position, that's where we're going to have our 1 7/8 inch ball mount, and that's going to have a capacity to carry up to 3,500 pounds. Now if you ever need to switch this, you can. All you have to do is just pull this pin out of here, and then you'll be able to rotate this around. So the next position is going to be the 2-inch ball mount. And that's going to have a capacity to carry up to 7,500 pounds. And as for your third ball mount, that's going to be your 2 5/16, and that's going to have a capacity to carry up to 18,000 pounds. Now it's also really important you always check what your vehicle can handle so you don't damage anything. Something else to point out too is when you're putting this pin in, there are going to be different locations where you put this pin through. So for the 2 5/16 ball mount, I can put it through this hole closest to the balls, but if I try to use this second hole furthest away, that's not going to work. As opposed if I go with the 1 7/8, that's going to work. But I'm going to go use that first one for the 2-inch ball mount. We're going to get a few measurements just to see how this is going to sit on the back of your vehicle. So what we're going to do is measure from the center of our hitch pin hole, because that's going to be the same no matter what. And we're going to measure out to the furthest point, which is going to be just about 11 inches. So that's important to know when you are putting it on your vehicle, how far away it's going to stick away, because that's going to affect how it mounts to your vehicle. And now, since we have this in the furthest point, you can actually push this in just by an inch, because we do have those 2 hitch pin holes installed on this mount. And as for when you have this in the stow position, that's going to change too. And we're still going to use that hitch pin hole. We're still in the furthest point away. So that's going to be just about 5.5 inches. And if you have it in that or the position closer to your vehicle, that's going to be 4.5 inches. As for the material, this is going to have a dual process chrome plating on it, which is going to help it last longer because it's going to be more weather resistant, so it's going to be less prone to rusting. You're going to have that on the ball mounts themselves and the shank. And it's also going to be very sturdy, made out of steel. Along with that, we're also going to have these pins that are also made out of steel. And so this is just something that's going to last you a long time, be able to take a beating. And operating it is pretty smooth. Pulling these pins out, I don't have to fight it too much. It just slides in and out pretty easy. Now the biggest gripe I'd have to say about really operating it is just the sheer amount of pins and clips I have to maneuver, but that's just something that overall it's going to give you more of a sturdy fit overall, making sure this lasts a long time. And on top of that, when I am just taking these pins out and trying to really stow this up or move it to the next spot over, I really don't struggle with it too much because this track in the center is really just easy to move along. I'm not really having to fight or push against anything. So I am a fan of that so far. In my opinion, I think this is a really great option because, like I was saying earlier, if you are trying to haul a variety of different types of trailers or you're hauling with different trucks, you'll be able to throw this on and be able to work with them. And especially with that ability to put it into that stow position when you're not hauling, it's going to give you a more clean finish overall. Now, if you're not a big fan of the chrome look of this, we do have this in another option. You're going to have an option for one with some black powder coat finish to it, but the balls themselves will still be chrome plating on them. And if this isn't going to be enough rise or drop for you, we're also going to have different options for those as well. But that was just a look at our B&W Tow Stow ball mounts. Thanks for watching.